Greetings, folks. I'm Dan Mack.
And this is Chris Mack.
And not with us is Pete.
Grabowski.
It never gets old.
We're going to have to work on that schedule of ours.
Yeah. Welcoming you to episode 74 of the Shred Shack podcast, your bi-weekly source of news and uninformed yet heavily biased opinions pertaining to all things heavy metal. Likely going to be bi-weekly for like 2-3 months.
At least.
Yeah, so deal with it. Let's start with some old business.
Old business is old business, and new business is new business.
Got no old business.
I think I have a crickets chirping. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I have crickets chirping. Yep, there we go. Old business.
If there is one thing for old business, is something I saw just like 5 minutes ago scrolling through. Apparently, we mentioned Winter Sun doing their crowdfunding thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, they raised just under $500,000 for their studio.
Shit.
Yeah, they did really well. Apparently, this is a record for metal bands on crowdfunding because the previous record was held by Protest the Hero when they did their album for $340,000. So these guys absolutely skyrocketed that. So
right.
hopefully that produces a whole bunch of new material, and if you're fans of the band, it's got to be awesome.
Metal fans making it rain.
Brave New World Bucks.
But also, it's cool because it's another studio. I'm sure they can lend the studio to other bands.
I'm sure they probably will.
So there's more in the long run for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's like there's a sign that says only Winter Sun allowed. That would be rather dickish of them.
No girls allowed.
No summer suns allowed. Just Winter Sun.
Stop.
Let's move on to some new business.
And this is new business, and we do not discuss new business until next quarter.
Crickets chirping again.
Yeah, I got that was like the longest crickets chirping clip I ever heard. So I'll just. I'm not gonna let it go the full time.
Okay.
That was long last
We
time.
have not had a chance to listen to new releases, although there are a bunch out. Let me pull that one up. Only because this week we got the newest Mastodon record was released, which I really want to pick up, which I probably will be picking up in the next week or two. Warbringer released a new record this week, so that was streaming. I never got a chance to listen to that. Demon Hunter also. Body Count's record came out this week.
Is Body Count's record on Skateboard?
I don't know. I actually haven't checked Skateboard in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I haven't. I really don't know.
Neither have I. So.
But it's through Century Media. Do we usually get Century Media stuff?
No.
I didn't think so.
I know that it's been getting pushed by Skateboard though.
Oh, okay. But at least for probably the next couple of days, I'll be picking up the Mastodon record to listen to, and then next week I'm looking forward to the new Royal Thunder record to come out. So that's gonna be badass.
Right. What came out last week?
Let me scroll down here.
Yeah, they
put the
once the
the
week is
bottom.
over, they throw it all the way at the bottom.
Yeah. Last week, The Art of Anarchy new record came out. That's the one that was formerly fronted by Scott Weiland, but now it's fronted by Scott Stapp.
Is he still doing that?
Yeah,
Because I know right now he's doing a solo tour.
That's his thing right now. I mean, he's the frontman for Art of Anarchy.
Okay.
The 7-inch box set for the For All Kings by Anthrax is out last week. We've mentioned that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Michael Schenker's live record came out. Night Ranger still putting out stuff.
Okay, wait, hold on. Is that Frontier's record?
Yep.
Oh my God! How do I know?
Because
How
it's
do
old.
I know?
Because it's an old group. Paul Bear released a record. I don't know if you remember it. A couple years, I think when we first started doing this, so almost 2 years ago, I mentioned a band called Sludged, but it's spelled SLUG, so it's like slug. They released a new record last week, and Davey Suicide.
I don't know what that is.
I know the name. I forget where, but whatever. But that's about it, really.
Okay.
So yeah.
So a lot of things for us to catch up on before.
Yeah, I caught up on a couple things from the week before, specifically the Obituary record, which was actually quite good.
Yeah.
I think the thing I like about the Obituary record is that it sounds old school. Like it sounds like they're still recording in like,
Production-wise?
Yeah, production-wise. It's not as crisp as the newer things. So it actually was like kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's not like overly produced. Some people would say.
Who are they signed to now?
Oh my gosh, scrolling back down. Where was it?
It's not that big of a deal, so.
Relapse.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes a
Yep.
lot of sense.
That's a good label for them.
Yeah.
Fit for an Autopsy came out the week before too. They're on E1, so
Yeah.
good stuff.
So this is some stuff we'll have to recap through
Yeah.
before the end of April.
Yeah, March was I fell behind pretty hardcore
Yeah.
in March.
But since we didn't listen to new stuff, what were we listening to?
Well, doing the Uber driving thing, I've been trying to just stick with safe things for people. So Foo Fighters is always safe. Elton John. Volbeat has been awesome, dude. There's nothing better than getting a whole bunch of drunk people rowdy to some Volbeat and trying to drive them home. That was actually pretty cool. And then I was listening to the February top 3 this week also in preparation. We were supposed to do the top 3 at the end of this podcast, but we're pushing it back again a little bit. Mm-hmm. So,
A lot of my time has been spent listening to the albums that I needed to do album reviews on. So I spent a good long time listening to The Long Dark Road, which was a pretty surprising album. Check out my review for it, but I was really surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it. It's really weird for me. It's definitely something up Pete's alley.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
was wondering where that was going.
yeah, no, because again, it's pretty much like a cross between black metal and punk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's something that I am not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you mentioned this.
Yeah,
Right.
and I wasn't familiar with it, but going into it, coming out of it, I was like, this is fucking cool. I also am working on another review, which was supposed to be out like a week ago, but I'm gonna have it out hopefully tomorrow. Which I'm not gonna mention the name until I actually have it done. But aside from that, just a lot of little safe things. Arion Theory of Everything, just in preparation for the new Arion album, because once that
Oh
happens,
my gosh, that's this month too, isn't it?
yes, it's coming. Like I had it pre-ordered from like 3 months ago, so I'm ready for it. My body is ready.
Your body's ready.
My body is ready. Yeah, just randomness through the iPod, and aside from listening to because when it's one of those things where like when I have to do the album review, I listen to it so much to a point where I'm sick of it.
Holy
so
shit!
what?
I was looking up the date for the Arion record, and the same day that Arion comes out, which is April 28th, All That Remains comes out. Between the Buried and Me comes out with a live DVD. Fate's Warning comes out with a live DVD CD set. The New Life of Agony is coming out that day. The new Paramaze is coming out that day. It's a good day.
Yeah. Like the a lot of the stuff that I've been hearing about new releases, like there's some big stuff coming out in like up until the middle of June at this point. So we're hitting a stride at the same time that we're like. They're hitting a stride at the same time that we're like, hey, listen, can you stop?
Yeah, can you
Please?
slow it down a little bit? A little busy.
Yeah, can you're at an 8? Can you do like a 4?
You might as well start talking about why we're kind of slowing things down here, just so everyone knows that this guy over here, Dan, is getting real busy with school.
Yeah,
again.
I got school to do. So I posted on my personal page, but I didn't post it on there. But like I have school starting in a week. Actually, technically exactly a week from when we were going to post this, which is Monday the 3rd.
Yeah.
And everything Shred Shack is going to be scaled back a little bit. What I plan to do is get everything up and out, including the thing that's holding back all the top 3 videos right now is the October top 3 video.
Of 2015.
Of 2016. The October 2016 top 3 video is what's holding up things right now because of the fact that it's all animated. And it's just a bitch to work on. And also I've been coming up with other things because I do gaming live streams every single week. We just started doing the whole wrestling thing, which Pat's going to have more of a hand in as far as editing, so I don't have to do more than this very often. But basically it's a matter of getting everything clean slate and then focusing on school and work, because I'm actually now working about full-time, finally.
Yeah. And I just started taking a nutrition course online, so I'm going to be kind of strapped with that. And I think right after that, I'm going to be doing a new personal training certification with a strength and conditioning course as well. So
Yeah.
busy.
So we real deal busy. When we say we're busy, we actually mean it. We're busy.
We ain't lying.
We ain't lying. We got stuff to do. But we're still going to keep doing this because, we enjoy it.
Because if we didn't do this, we probably wouldn't talk to each other at all.
I mean, if I didn't live with my wife, I talk to her. So it's kind of how things go. It's actually kind of funny. Like, I didn't, while Lindsay was gone for the last 2 weeks, like, I barely spoke to her for, like, the first week. I was like, wait, who are you?
Widower for a week.
Bitch, who's texting me? Oh, shit.
You should. Hi, Dad. Who this? New number. Who this?
All right, so let's go on to news, which you've sectioned off here for some stuff.
Yeah. So the first one up is there's going to be a massive Rob Halford box set coming out. All right. So due on May 19th via Legacy Recordings, the complete albums collection will feature the following. First off, are the 4 albums by his band Fight. So that's K5, The War of Words, which is actually demos. Apparently, this was recorded in 1992 and released in 2007. Then, of course, War of Words, the album in 1993, Mutations in 1994, and A Small Deadly Space from 1995. Then there's the album that he did with Marilyn Manson and a couple other people. This is from his band 2, which is actually the number 2 WO. And it's called Voyeurs, and that was released in 1998. And then, of course, everything from his band Halford is going to be released as well. Resurrection from 2000. Live Insurrection, which is 2 CDs from 2001. Crucible from 2002. Live in Anaheim, which is another 2 CDs, which was recorded in 2003 and released in 2010. Halford 3, Winter Songs from 2009. Halford 4, Made of Metal, 2010. And Live at Saitama Super Arena from 2011. So that is one massive Rob Halford box set.
And then Halford 5, The Revenge. But anyway, let me...
With a vengeance.
This is f***ing great.
The only downside of this is I have most of this stuff already.
I was going to say, I think the only thing I have actually is one of the Fight records.
I have 2 of the Fight records. I haven't really paid much attention to them. I've had the 2 album forever, and it's pretty good. But Halford's solo material, at least the ones I know, which is basically the first 3 and then a little bit of Winter Songs, fucking awesome. I love his solo material. I love his solo band. Like, they were badass. Again, it just sucks because I have most of it, and I'm not. And normally in the past I'd be like, well, I'm just gonna get rid of the stuff I have and get this, but not at this point, honestly. I still need to get the actual studio material because I don't need all the extra live stuff. I don't need Live in Anaheim. I don't need Live in Saitama Super Arena. I have Live Insurrection, which I think. I'm not sure if the entire album's like this, but I think it was a handful of like sound check stuff. I know that like somebody had claimed that the song that was done with Bruce Dickinson was not actually performed live between the two of them. It was done during sound check. So, which I don't know if that's true or not, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to something involving Bruce Dickinson, though.
Yeah, well, now we have the massive Maiden reissue. All right,
This is like the 6th one.
Yeah. Well, here's how it goes. Parlophone Records will follow 2014's reissue of the first 8 Iron Maiden albums, which spanned the 1980s, with 12 brand new pressings of albums from the period of 1990 through 2015 in heavyweight 180-gram black vinyl. Unlike the 1980s reissues, which were cut from the original analog master tapes, the audio on these releases have been cut from the high-resolution remasters of 2015 when the Maiden catalog was digitally upgraded. They will be packaged in identical artwork to the initial vinyl releases. The records will be released chronologically across a 3-month period. So the first one is going to be May 19th. You're going to get the collector's box, No Prayer for the Dying, Fear of the Dark, The X Factor, and Virtual 11.
So this is like that Judas Priest box. Like, you got it in its entirety. I got it with 4 albums inside, and you had to buy the rest.
It also sounds like the Grand Funk one too.
Yeah. Okay, so that's I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So June 23rd, you get Brave New World, Rock in Rio, Dance of Death, A Matter of Life and Death, and then July 21st, Death on the Road, Flight 666, The Final Frontier, and then Vivo. All right, and as a bonus, as we were just talking about, the first 2 albums, No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark, will also be made available in exclusive collector's box sized to house all 12 albums with additional space for fans to insert the latest Maiden studio album, The Book of Souls, which was released on triple black vinyl in 2015. The collector's box will be a strictly limited edition and available while stocks last.
So They should just make a little extra space and put a glory hole in that.
Pretty much.
'Cause, wow, like that's
That is a massive, massive set right
yeah,
there.
that's impressive. I'm weeping right here. I think Pete's weeping right now.
This thing is just sinking on me.
Oh yeah, I just gotta
There you go.
mess around with it.
Much better.
But yeah, of course.
This is great.
Yeah, when I read that, I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like, every couple of years they release a new Maiden thing. Anyway, I got into them and got obsessed with them in the interim between box sets, because I think 2 years prior to me getting into them, they had released the Eddie's Head box set, which is basically like a little stack, like in a plastic case, and the front of it was a rubber mask of Eddie, and like I had just missed that; it had gone out of print as I got into them.
Right.
And then I bought everything up, and then they released like another complete
Wasn't like
box.
you got the
Eddie, I got Eddie's Archives.
that thing that might be the
Yeah,
one I'm
that's
thinking of.
that's just some extra stuff,
Okay.
which is badass on its own. But no, when I got into them, they had also just done. I think it was like either 98, 2000, 2001. They had re-released everything, and on the side panel was a picture of Eddie
Yes.
from the Iron Maiden, the debut album. And I was so obsessed with not fucking up the order that I went out and specifically sought anything with the side panel. Like, if I saw like an album that I needed so desperately, but it didn't have that, I was like, nope, I'm gonna pass. Fuck
What
you.
extra I need?
Yeah, this is also me like a decade ago. No, a decade and a half ago.
We're talking like 15 years ago.
Yeah, this is me a decade and a half ago, and I'm 15, and I haven't changed much.
Not much.
I gotta have the things I gotta have. So, but I did end up succeeding in getting everything. So, and then of course, because the problem that with that was they were going out of print. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get them all. And then the next remasters that came out did the side panels. Like, you motherfuckers, eat a dick. Okay, but yeah, that's awesome. Anything Maiden is always cool by me. Actually, it makes me sad because I just realized that Book of Souls was a year and a half ago.
Right?
Been doing this for too long. Feeling old. I need sleep.
I'm tired during the day.
I need to get that close. I'm tired during the day. I can relate to this. All right, so let's go on to general news.
All right. Drummer Jeff Plate has announced his departure from Metal Church. He explained in a statement, I came to this conclusion 2 weeks ago and agreed to hold off on the announcement until Metal Church had made some decisions on what they were going to do. So they've had to kind of find a replacement and then...
Yeah, I think
let it go.
they backed out of their tour. They had a mini tour coming up with somebody.
I forgot. It was Alter Bridge, wasn't it?
Yes. So they had to back out of their dates with them.
Yeah.
I think more than likely because of this.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Howard Jones. Everyone knows him from Devil You May Know. Or is that the name of the band?
the devil you know.
The Devil You Know. And, of course,
Killswitch.
from Killswitch, is collaborating with ex-Soilwork guitarist Peter Wickers on a new studio project. Jones recently visited Wicker's studio in North Carolina to begin laying down ideas for the project's upcoming full-length debut, details of which will be announced as they come available. That
That's
was
always cool.
probably badass. Badass.
I'm okay with Howard Jones.
I like Howard Jones. I mean, I preferred him not in Killswitch. I always liked Jesse Leach as a better Killswitch Engage frontman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the clips that I heard from when I edited the top 3 before they became Chipmunk Eyes.
I was gonna say before
that,
Killswitch and the Chipmunks.
I'd say like the little bits that I heard, I think I liked more than anything I know from Howard Jones era.
I think the Howard Jones era for me is like after End of Heartache. I mean, all the songs pretty much were about whatever it was End of Heartache was about. It was just way too sappy and emo.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the music. The songs are great. Loved it. Don't get me wrong, but I would much rather have Jesse Leach singing for Killswitch Engage, especially with his lyrical content. I think it's better.
I don't know.
Brian May has confirmed that Queen will release its own version of Monopoly in May. The new board game will take fans through pivotal moments in the band's history.
So if you want to hate your friends and family, but have a delightful bit of trivia for Queen, buy this game.
Which is like, or we could just buy the game and leave it unopened like I do with the Metallica Monopoly that
That's
I
true.
have.
That's true. There are so many different versions. Like I like these little rebrandings of games and everything. Like I like it when they do with chess. Like there's like a Super Mario Brothers chess game out there. I like that shit. Like I haven't bought any of it, but I like it. So
Yeah. All right. Anthrax drummer Charlie Benanti held down the drum chair on Late Night with Seth Meyers from Monday, March 20th through Thursday, March 23rd.
is Seth Meyers just a metalhead?
He must be, or somebody in his on his show is, because he's had Danny Carey, he's had Brett from Mastodon.
He had Nico
the guy
2
from
weeks ago.
Nico 2 weeks ago. He had the guy from Deftones playing drums for him. So he's got a rotating cast of metal drummers in his bit.
There's some metal there somewhere.
Yeah. And I bet you, what's his name? Jimmy Kimmel's kind of a metalhead too, because he always has those kind of bands on his show, playing live too. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Mike Portnoy,
I could play that.
thank you, is rumored to have recruited ex-Guns N' Roses guitarist Ron Bumblefoot Thal and former Dream Theater and current Black Country Communion keyboardist Derek Sherinian for his previously announced progressive metal supergroup.
That doesn't surprise me.
Not at all.
Because I'm pretty sure Derek Sherinian is pretty much like in a lot of the supergroups nowadays. Like anytime there's a prog supergroup, it's pretty much involves the members of Dream Theater, ex-members of Dream Theater, future members of Dream Theater,
All bastard sons of Dream Theater.
and maybe like guys from like Spock's Beard and the Flower Kings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
There's a whole big prog metal community here.
yeah, like they just
Kissing cousins all over the place.
Yeah, they just like mix and match and swap and everything.
Incestuous motherfuckers. All right. According to the Pulse of Radio, authorities in Spain have fined AC/DC concert promoters Live Nation for refusing to issue ticket refunds to fans who did not want to see the band with Axl Rose on lead vocals. Although Live Nation initially stated that any fans who no longer want to attend a Guns show, AC/DC show last May in Seville, Spain, will be granted a refund, the company stopped taking requests after just 3 days due to high demand.
Oh shit!
As a result, Live Nation has been fined the euro equivalent of $16,000 by the General Directorate of Economy and Commerce of the city of Seville. Fans still have up to 5 years from the date of the show to ask for refunds and have been urged to do so by the authorities.
Move this man!
Dude, I think Live Nation wipes their dick with $16,000. That's
Yeah,
not really
I was
much of
gonna
a
say,
fucking much of a penalty.
I can't remember. I'm thinking of like a cartoon or a TV show where somebody was like desperately trying to hit somebody up for money, and throughout the whole time, like you don't know the exact cost, but when he gets to the end, it's like, yeah, just like $5. Like this sounds like nothing, especially considering like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, they like to charge you so far up the ass for like fees and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm sure that's just the fees from like a Metallica concert, one Metallica concert, the Alamo Dome show that's coming here. That's, and they're like, oh shit, sitting there like throwing out the $16,000 like it's nothing.
Yeah, seriously. Considering what they have going on worldwide, wiping their dick off and
Yeah.
just there you go, have it. This is ridiculous. All right, Trivium will remain on Roadrunner Records for the foreseeable future, as the group have just re-signed with their longtime label home. Their first Roadrunner release was their 2005 sophomore effort, Ascendancy, with Roadrunner having handled all the band's albums since then.
That's cool. I feel like I don't hear much about Roadrunner as often anymore. Like they were big.
They were the big hot shit when like nu metal and like Slipknot came out, because their two biggest signings were Slipknot and Nickelback.
Yeah.
And then you started hearing about more record labels like Napalm, Nuclear Blast.
They started off and they had a lot of the best possible names. King Diamond was there for a while.
Opeth was there for one album, I believe.
I'm thinking like before the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
So so you had some King Diamond, Carnivore, which is a Type O Negative's band.
I think Type O Negative was there too for one or two records.
Yes. I think most of their catalog until the end. I think they were there for. And then the new metal thing happened, and they kind of got a little bit. So they went from like basically having the classic to having a little bit more of the modern stuff. Then they started getting like some random names.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I didn't know about that one.
Oh yeah, I think
was gonna say-
Leonard Skinner was on their roster for a hot second.
I was gonna say Dream Theater. They got CKY.
Yeah.
A lot of these little randoms. But it seems like they've kind of just have just kind of coasted since then. So
Well, there's a lot of record labels out there right now that are doing really good things. Like we talk about Nuclear Blast, Napalm a lot on this podcast. Relapse Records has a really good stock of people. Sumerian Records also. Seasons of Mist is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Not huge, but like it's a pretty popular and pretty goddamn prolific one. Because I remember I think it was like last year that they had like 4 or 5 weeks in a row where they had 2 or 3 albums out that we were listening to. So
I think of like Nuclear Blast and Century Media as like the top tier, and then like then the next level in the echelon would be things like Relapse and who else? I can't think of the list now,
Yeah.
but yeah, but Roadrunner I feel like was like up there as far as getting what was popular signed and everything, and then they kind of slipped down to like the mid.
yeah. But as long as they keep like the mainstays there, that they'll probably be successful.
I think they still have like Slipknot. and
I think they
whatnot.
still have something.
And I don't think Stone Sour's switched over to anything
Probably
yet.
not.
So,
I don't even know off the top of my head.
yeah, I haven't paid much attention to that one.
Next up, Sammy Hagar and James Hetfield have announced the lineup for Acoustic for a Cure 4, set to take place on May 15th at the Fillmore in San Francisco, California. Artists performing at Acoustic for a Cure will be Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo, Don Felder, Mick Fleetwood, Dave Grohl, Sammy Hagar, Vic Johnson, Sarah McLaughlin, McLaughlin, yeah, Steve Vai, and Bob Weir. The 2017 concert blends veterans and newcomers to the event, with Grohl sitting in for Hetfield because he'll be on tour. The benefit was created by Sammy Hagar and James Hetfield, whose vision was to raise needed funds and awareness for the pediatric cancer research by throwing a must-see concert for fans and donating all the proceeds to UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, every year there's always like one really cool jam session that happens where you get like some unlikely people playing together. I think like 3 or 4 years ago when it first came out, we saw like Billy Joel Armstrong from Green Day playing a track with James Hetfield, and it was pretty badass. So you always see cool stuff like that happening at this show.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Well, here is the bummer of the week right here. Threshold have parted ways with vocalist Damian Wilson. If you guys have been listening to this podcast for the last year and a half, everyone knows that I have a huge man crush on Damian Wilson. The band has chosen to start a new chapter without him, and he has told them he respects their decision. Threshold's new frontman will be Glenn Morgan, the band's former vocalist from 1994 through 1996. Morgan appeared on Threshold's 1994 album Psychedelicatessen and returned to work with the band in 2008 to record tracks for the singles box set Paradox.
I'm actually kind of okay with this because it does free up Damian Wilson to do whatever else he does, because
Yeah.
he does tend to appear in a lot of things. He's had solo career and
Speaking
whatnot.
of like the prog metal fucking incestuous nature here,
Yeah.
that guy.
If he were, I really want him to reappear on an Arion album again, because
That's the main thing I know him from is especially his Star One stuff. so.
His work in Threshold was really fucking good. Like, I like Threshold. I haven't kept up with them since Damien returned, unfortunately. But what I know of Extinct Instinct, man, fucking good. So,
All right. Queensryche drummer Scott Rockenfeld will be taking time off from the band's touring activities to spend time with his newborn son, appropriately named Roxon. Filling in for him for the group's upcoming shows will be Casey Grillo of Camelot.
you know they're going to shorten the name to Roxo.
Yeah. I do cocaine. He probably did want to name his son Roxo, and his wife's like, no. Just stop. No.
None of that, sir.
Roxin. Okay. All right. BMG has announced it has signed a worldwide recording deal with A Perfect Circle. The band is in the studio working on new material for a new full-length album to be released later this year, anytime before a new Tool record.
That's right. So there's pretty much, we got the new Pussifer, we got this album coming out. Just There's going to be no new Tool record. But you know what? People are going to be like,
That's really dumb. But he's so cool. But that's so dumb.
Yeah.
like I actually, some of my friends back in New York, when we play games, like 2 of them are really obsessed with Tool. They're going to go to like the Randall Island festival, like it has nothing else like Tool, and then Tool headlines.
Yeah.
They're going to that show just to see them. And I'm sitting there like, you guys are fucking nerds. Fucking hate you.
Yeah, I mean, that's rough because then you spend a whole lot of money for a whole lot of bands you're not going to bother watching.
I think 1 or 2 they'll actually enjoy, but I mean, I don't think they're spending like all that much.
Regardless, it's
I'm sure they'll find something to enjoy about it, or they'll just sit there and wait until the thing goes on. Nerds.
Nerds. All right. We mentioned just before CKY, but they have signed a worldwide recording deal with Entertainment One Music. The band's new full-length album will be released this summer.
Finally.
I'm really interested to see what it's going to sound like
With Chad?
recording with Chad.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, you know, the guitar sound of CKY was so signature, but I think that had to do more with Darren than anything else. So I'm really interested in seeing what kind of direction they go forward.
Yeah, because I don't think they've like leaked anything, and there's just been like so much up in the air stuff for what, half a decade now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like when the last one came out,
A long time ago.
yeah, I was still in Queens when that came out, and
I think I was still in New York.
yeah. So it's long overdue, and I'm really hoping it's good. So
Fingers crossed.
I'm gonna try to wave past the hype train and not get on it, but
All right, last but not least here for general news, Metallica's Am I Savage will serve as the official theme song for Triple H's unsanctioned match against Seth Rollins Sunday night at WrestleMania in Orlando, Florida.
now we were talking a little bit about this earlier. I haven't actually watched a WrestleMania in a long time, but I know that Triple H always has these really crazy, elaborate entrances, which I think on 2 different occasions involved actually having Motorhead play.
Yes.
They seem kind of cool, kind of hokey, but cool. So I'm kind of excited to see how this works out. It's just I wish they had picked a better Metallica song. Yeah. But still, I'm like, I mean, it's going to be happening tonight. By the
Well,
time that we post this, we're going to see it. So
I think it's for the match. I don't know if it's for Triple H's entrance.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know. I don't know how it works.
I don't know, but it'd be cool if like Metallica actually was there to play. That'd be cool.
Well, I think they're busy gearing up for this
This
tour,
yeah.
which I'm still super stoked about. So.
But still cool. And we'll see how that plays out when when he re-injures Seth Rollins' leg. So that's it for general news. Let's go on to some recording news.
All right, first one up here is for Dan and myself because I really like their last 2 records. But Adrenaline Mob will release its 3rd studio album, We the People, on June 2nd via Century Media.
You know, for a while they were releasing stuff like so quickly because they did the album, the covers EP, album.
Another covers EP.
It was mix.
Oh.
It was like some acoustic stuff, some
Oh, okay,
covers and
yeah.
whatnot. Like their cover of "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like quiet for like 2 years. I think because
Well,
of Symphony X.
I was going to say because Symphony X released Underworld.
yeah,
Underwhelmed.
And then they tore. Hang on. I have a clip for that.
I get it. Shut it, Napa.
But yeah, it just seemed like they were like churning things out and then quiet for a little while. So I'm glad they're coming back because like their stuff isn't it's not downright spectacular. It's good fist pumping stuff.
It's
And-
good stuff to listen to if you just want to get in the mood to go out and have fun, really.
Yeah, and the all the parties involved in the band and who have been involved in the past, Mr. Portnoy,
I could play that.
but all the parties who have been involved in them are fantastic. And,
Yeah.
and sadly, it sucks that A.G. Pero had to pass away because he contributed a pretty badass sound to the second album. So
And John Moyer's not in the band anymore because he's back with Disturbed and he's also the bassist for Art of Anarchy.
yeah.
So
But yeah, all the folks that have been involved with it have a great deal of talent. So it's always good to see them just get together and do this.
Yep.
So
All right, next up, Legacy Recordings, the catalog division of Sony Music Entertainment, commemorates the 10th anniversary of Record Store Day with electrifying lineup of exclusive new and collectible 7 and 12-inch vinyl releases. Among these is Alice in Chains' Get Born Again, What the Hell Have I, 2 7-inch black vinyl singles in gatefold sleeve. And there are more that have been coming out that I just haven't put in this list here.
That's just kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I want that. I don't even really care about 7-inch singles unless I'm like really collecting a band stuff, but I want that.
I want that.
I don't have a clip like that yet. I got to find something similar to that.
All right. Road Burn Live is Enslaved's first official live album, a split release between Roadburn Records and By Norse Music. The album was recorded during one of the band's headlining shows at the renowned Roadburn Festival in 2015, an edition curated by Enslaved's guitar player Ivan Bjornsson. Roadburn Live will be available as limited and exclusive Record Store Day color editions and as Roadburn Enslaved Web Shop Gold Edition, including the original A3 Roadburn poster and color stickers. Jesus.
I don't know enough about Enslaved, so.
They're awesome. I think the only reason you might know the name is because we mentioned that one of their members, Grutel, left a little while ago.
Ah, yes.
And that led to
So Grutel.
a good 2 weeks worth of memes for us.
I still have to post that picture somewhere.
So Grutel.
So Grutel.
Udo has commenced work on the follow-up to 2015's Decadent album for a tentative late 2017 release.
It's funny, with the tour he's on right now, the Farewell to Accept tour, I'm pretty sure there was a thing that came out recently that said, yeah, we're not done with it yet.
Yeah, that comes up later on in this podcast, I believe.
Like, your farewell to farewells, and you're like, yeah, we're coming back.
All right. Belphegor has successfully finished the drum tracking and bass recordings for the new album due on September 15th via Nuclear Blast. The 11th full-length album is to be titled Totem Ritual, and it will be it will present 9 new tracks. Right after the album's release, Serpenth, who does bass and grunts, Bloodhammer, who does drums, and the singer, guitarist, and founding member Helmuth Lenner will embark on an extensive worldwide touring cycle.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just want to say, though, that, like, with member names like that, I want to start a black metal band, like, where everybody has these awesome names, and then, like, bass player, Bob.
Like the one guy in ZZ Top who doesn't have a beard is named Frank Beard.
Yeah, pretty
like that.
pretty much like that. Just kind of like a, what?
It's not Bob. It's pronounced Bob.
I was thinking, like, I'm sure maybe they turned to Frank Beard a couple of times, like, listen, grow a goddamn beard.
It's like, no, this is my thing. This is my thing.
I just think of Super Troopers. Can you grow a goddamn mustache? I'm growing mine. Oh, you're growing yours, are you?
All right, The Sword will have a new live album titled Greetings From in stores on May 5th.
That's a silly title. Greetings from in stores on May 5th. I'm sorry, that
Greetings
was bad.
from ...
Greetings from ellipses.
The Butcher Babies have begun recording their follow-up to 2015 album Take It Like a Man for a tentative late 2017 release via Century Media Records.
The little bits I heard from that album, I actually enjoyed.
They actually, when they released that album, they released a pretty much a quote-unquote live performance video of every song. Mm-hmm. I say quote-unquote because you can tell that they're lip-syncing the whole thing. Mm. But it was actually pretty damn good. I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, I think that we had the chance to catch them around the time that album was released.
Possibly.
I think they were here late 15, early 16.
All right. Danzig's cover album Skeletons.
Hey, who is it?
Danzig. There you go. We'll be getting a new vinyl release on June 2nd via Nuclear Blast Entertainment and Evil Live. I love that. That's fantastic. Depending on your region, you can find it in purple and black, bone and black, or cyan.
Cyan.
Cyan,
is
that's a color?
It's blue.
Oh, and purple. See below for pre-order links. I'm sure that's probably, I totally should have just cut that out. If you really want to go retro, you can also pick it up as a hand-numbered cassette tape via nuclearblast.com.
What? This is great.
I'm all for that.
As soon as I saw the cassette tape, I'm like, oh, Dan, boner popping right there.
I am all for that.
Oh, well, here's one for Pete. Unfortunately, he's not here, but Amon Amarth's The Crusher and Versus the World are set for new vinyl reissues on May 19th through Metal Blade. Both will arrive as part of the label's original series reissues. The Crusher will be offered on black vinyl, clear vinyl, which is going to be limited to 200, yellow vinyl, limited to 200, and clay brown/black marbled vinyl, limited to 100. Versus the World will be released on black vinyl, clear vinyl, also limited to 200, orange vinyl, limited to 200, and orange, brown, black marbled vinyl, limited to 100.
What's that, Pete? I can't hear you.
This is great.
Yep, pretty much. That's the way Pete sounds, too, when he gets excited.
Woo.
Yay.
Just thinking of that
There was much rejoicing.
the Simpsons bit with Al Gore. He puts on "Celebrate Good Times." It's "I will."
Wow. All right, Soil, not Soil Work, Soil has confirmed to Meltdown of the WRIF radio station that the band is working on new music to be released later this year.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I think they still have Ryan McCombs.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. All right, last but not least here for recording music, Sixth will release their new album The Future in Whose Eyes on June 2nd via Millennium Night, the newly created label imprint from Snapper Music, which is home of Peaceville and K-Scope.
Okay, I read that wrong. I thought it was like a label beneath a label beneath a label, but I was like, no, okay, it's a label alongside other labels that are owned by another label. Got it.
Yeah, so June's looking pretty good for new music.
Like I said, the next 3 months are looking pretty good. So
Yeah.
So let's move on to the crowdfunding tracker. I'm going to let you do the first one because I have just one to talk about today.
All right, which one was my first one? Okay, Mike 9. Okay, Mike 9 still trying to raise up $150,000 for medical bills. You know, he's had his liver transplant, et cetera, et cetera. He's up to 76,208, which is not that much of an increase from the last time we reported this 2 weeks ago.
About 2,000, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. Not even, because he's, according to the tracker here, it's significantly slowed down. Yeah. With donations coming in like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So, good thing is though is that later on in the show we will mention that he is hitting the stage again. So.
Yeah, aren't they doing a thing like isn't he like going to be performing at his own benefit or something like that?
Something like that. We'll mention that when we talk about shows.
Okay. For the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about band Dysfunction, working on getting their first full-length studio album crowdfunded. They were looking for $500. They met their goal of $500 even. I think about 2 days before they finished. So
nice.
they made their goal. The album's happening. I think they said it's coming out in June. So we will definitely be playing a track or two on the S5 when that swings by. But congratulations to them. Looking forward to hearing what they have in store.
All right. And the other thing we mentioned is the former drummer of was it Candiria?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so. Can't remember. But Anders Herrick, he has one of those things where it's no one knows what the hell's going on just yet. So he has a very serious medical condition that we don't know what's going on, and of course his medical bills are stacking up. His goal is $35,000, and he is at $9,780. It seems like that crowdfunding has also slowed down. We had one donation 16 hours ago, and then the next most recent one was 5 days ago, and it's only been a few more days, and then so on and so forth after that. So it seems to have slowed down just a little bit.
What's that one through? GoFundMe or
this one is GoFundMe. So there's no end date for this, of course.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
contribute, folks. Shill out that cash.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to concert news and start with some festivals.
All right, Clutch have announced the first annual Earth Rocker Festival set to take place on Saturday, May 20th at Shilly Acres in Inwood, West Virginia. Also featured on the bill are Lucero, The Sword, Bad Seed Rising, Apollo's Prophecy, and the Frederick, Maryland School of Rock Band.
That's just a series of bands with great names.
Right? So, Clutch is awesome. All right, Nine Inch Nails confirmed that they will be playing at this year's, I think that's supposed to be FYE Fest.
Okay, I was gonna say it sounds like an acronym for "fuck your face."
Yeah, well, I think it's supposed to say FYE, so there's definitely a typo there, which is to be held July 21st through 23rd at Exposition Park in Los Angeles, California. Nine Inch Nails will be performing on the 23rd. Other bands expected to perform include Frank Ocean, Bjork, A Tribe Called Quest, Iggy Pop, Missy Franklin, Slanja, I guess that's her name, MGMT, Erykah Badu, Run the Jewels, and more.
Where does Nine Inch Nails fit in and all that?
I don't know, but this is one of those things like we were just talking about a little bit earlier about Tool playing a festival that they don't necessarily belong
like
in. This is one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very eclectic bunch. I mean, like, okay, you have Nine Inch Nails, Tribe Called Quest, Iggy Pop, like that on its, Bjork, like that little run of folks on its own is pretty wild. And then you pad it out with the rest of them. Yeah,
it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where Nine Inch Nails is that crossover appeals. Like, you know, they're not just for industrial or metalheads, and they're for everybody. You know, Tool's the same thing. You know, people who will listen to, you know, The Weeknd will still probably end up listening to Tool.
Yeah,
it's just that accessible now.
Take that, nerds.
All right, the 2017 edition of the Blackest of the Black Festival will feature performances by the following bands. On Friday, May 26th, you have Suicidal Tendencies, Corrosion of Conformity, Suicide Silence, Discharge, Belphegor, Butcher Babies, and Three Teeth. On Saturday, May 27th, you will have Danzig, Ministry, Vamps, Atreyu, Venom Incorporated, Devil Driver, Marduk, Combi Christ, Ghoul, and Ritual.
Or get your degree.
There you go.
That's a pretty solid lineup.
That's pretty stacked. Although I'd probably be leaning more towards Friday's show, in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, if I were given the opportunity to mess around with things a little bit, I can definitely set up one solid great day with Suicidal Tendencies, Corrosion Conformity, Suicide Silence, probably Discharge. Like, yeah, that whole first day.
Yeah.
Throw in Danzig and Ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be it.
No offense to the rest of them, but
No. It's like I've seen Atreyu, I've seen Devil Driver.
yeah, Combi Christ I would like to see. So
I would like to see Corrosion Conformity, especially because I think they're playing with Pepper still. So
yeah, I saw them a while ago when they opened up for fucking Disturbed.
wow,
That was weird.
yeah,
Definitely not matching. Considering the fact like they went into this like whole 10-minute long jam, and everyone's like, I can't fist pump to this.
yeah. All right, so let's get on to some regular touring news here. Scorpions have announced their North American Crazy World Tour with very special guest Megadeth. Megadeth and Scorpions playing together. San Antonio date on October 11th, Freeman Coliseum. Happy birthday, Daniel.
See, another band that was like, yeah, we're doing our farewell tour. No, we're back.
No, I think like even halfway through their farewell tour, the Scorpions are like, no, we lied.
We're gonna
Nope.
change this. We're gonna change this tour to the fuck that shit tour. But from what Pete was telling me from seeing them last year, they still can put on an awesome show. And I saw them almost a decade and a half ago. Actually, a decade and a half ago, and they owned that show. Because they were going on before Deep Purple, who are good but boring as shit. And that was preceded by Dio, who is fucking awesome. So, but if Scorpions can still put on the same show, like at whatever age they are now, 70 something,
Forever.
like them and the Stones are kind of just sitting there. Yeah. I want to see this show. I'm cool to see Megadeth again.
Yeah, I'll see Megadeth. But dude, the two of them together, that's just going to be an awesome show.
I would also like to see who is going to be opening that show.
Yeah, they didn't mention anything about that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a lot of the tours have been doing, like local acts. Like there's not really a special third guest or anything like that. It just seems to be the two of them on tour. So I figure some Texas metal would be there. So I'm wondering who they would get.
Bifist opening up for Megadeth and Scorpions at the Freeman Coliseum.
You heard it, guys. Make that happen.
Jessica opening up for Scorpions and Megadeth.
You heard it, folks. Make it happen.
There you go. All right. Hashtag no San Antonio date.
I don't have the clip ready, but
Yeah, just have it ready.
yeah.
There's a couple of those. All right. Fates Warning have announced the first run of tour dates in support of their latest album, Theories of Flight. The trek will kick off on June 11th in Poughkeepsie, New York, and end on July 1st in Allston, Massachusetts.
I would like to see them live.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the last album, and what I've heard of them in the past, I've enjoyed.
All right. Ted Nugent has announced the first batch of dates for his Make America Rock tour.
No one cares.
Exactly. Where's the crickets?
I'm not playing the crickets.
Udo Dirkschneider spent the last year touring under the Dirk Schneider banner, performing classic Accept songs for the last time, quote unquote. The trek, which was originally supposed to conclude with the band's North American run in January and February, which we saw, has now been extended through the end of 2017 and possibly never going to end.
No talking, no new crap. Taking care of business now.
Balls to the walls now.
I mean, it's cool, but I mean, you're making a new album, but you're still going to tour under the Accept banner, like.
Yeah, well, the thing is, his new album is under the Udo banner.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
And
like,
now, the thing is, he's touring under the Dirk Schneider banner here, so it's two different bands, Dan. Two different bands.
That's really dumb. But he's so cool. But that's so dumb.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, all power to him because I'm sure like these shows draw the money,
I'm sure.
and he still has the power to perform like a badass. So
Yeah, that was a really good show.
yeah.
All right, hashtag no San Antonio date.
This one's pretty bad.
Primus and Clutch will join forces for an evening with Primus and Clutch and Weed tour this summer. Because that's all you're going to be doing while you're watching those bands. The 24-date trek will launch on July 17th in Charlotte, North Carolina, and wrap on August 18th in Berkeley, California. Both bands will play full sets during the tour, which will feature no support acts.
Wow. So,
Yeah,
like,
that
like,
is
the two of them having like hour and a half, 2 hour sets.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty wild.
badass shows.
Especially because when you saw them with Tool, didn't they have like what half-hour set, something like
They
that?
had maybe a half hour. And the thing is, they were incredible in that half hour.
Yeah.
Like, I picked up a guy I drove for Uber who saw Primus at Red Rocks like in 2010, and he said it was like the best show he's ever seen, ever.
Nice.
He was also on mushrooms at the time, so I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it.
I see them right now. They're hanging out on the road playing the. Watch out! You're gonna hit that mushroom. Huh.
Okay, hashtag no San Antonio date. Apocalyptica is returning to North America in major markets to do a night with quote dates in support of the 20th anniversary of Plays Metallica by Four Cellos this fall. This will be the first time the band will play in support of this record ever, since they did not tour behind it when it first came out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've seen Apocalyptica a handful of times, and they are an awesome show.
Well, because they have like it's the four of them, and then they have like more to the band and stuff like that.
Well, they have a drummer.
Yeah.
They have a drummer. They have the four cellists, and then they usually bring out a guest singer.
Okay.
Usually, it's just depending on where they're doing their shows. I think they usually have either a touring singer who does all the songs, or they bring out a special guest who did the songs originally.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had the guy from 3 Days Grace come out and do the song that he did with them the first time I saw them with Rachel, and she wet her pants because she was so stoked for that.
I like it when they do that. Like when I saw Anthrax in the city years ago when they opened up for Dio, Chuck D came out.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
and the place was almost torn down.
Yeah.
So
not a surprise at all. Last couple bits of touring news here. Nonpoint will be taking an extended break from the road beginning later this year. They have announced that the upcoming run of touring will be their only shows until 2019.
damn.
Among those dates are a newly expanded run with Hinder and Nine Shrines, and a recently announced trek with Nine Shrines and A Killer's Confession. They do have a San Antonio date here on May 4th at the Rock Box with Hinder and Nine Shrines.
Sweet.
I would actually really like to see Nonpoint.
Well, the Rock Box is a good place for it.
Yeah, that actually is a perfect place for that kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right, last but not least here is just some regular touring news. Ghost has announced additional headlining dates to take place this summer during the group's North American tour with Iron Maiden.
As long as Papa doesn't fall off the stage again.
Yeah, I heard about that. And apparently, one of their new touring members used to be a touring member of Korn. Their keyboardist used to tour with Korn. So much for the anonymity of the nameless ghouls. They just kind of show up now on social media.
I'm still laughing about falling off the stage.
Yeah.
Satan!
God has smote thee. Is it smote or is it smited? All right, here we go.
We got one-offs now.
We got one-offs now. Okay, speaking of Mike Nine, I Hate God frontman Mike Nine Williams will make his return to the stage next month following a successful liver transplant this past December. Williams, who hasn't performed with the live in a year, will make his 2017 stage debut on April 14th at this year's Berserker Fest in Pontiac, Michigan, alongside Off, Negative Approach, Gwar, Weed Eater, The Obsessed, and many more. From there, the band will hit Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Brooklyn, New York, with future live encounters to be announced in the months to come.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully some of that will benefit him as far as getting money for his medical bills.
Yeah. Rammstein, Korn, and Stone Sour will be teaming up for a July 1st live show at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Rumors have already been circulating of a Rammstein and Korn planning future shows together around August and September as well. This particular date takes place amid a break in shows of Korn and Stone Sour's summer tour together.
If that tour does not come here,
Which one?
the Rammstein and Korn one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a shit about Korn. Rammstein, if they don't come around here.
Motherfuckers apparently have about 35 songs written for a new record. So
Something has to die, and it's gonna be you.
who's hoping for a Rammstein double record here?
That'd be good.
Yeah.
It's been a while since they released an album too.
Yeah.
It's been like 4
Well, didn't
years.
they go on like a mini hiatus for a little while, and they just like made their return like last year?
Maybe I know Till was doing his own solo thing for a little while. So
Yeah.
but yeah, like they just, it's amazing. Like they seem kind of so low key as far as news go, but they are so big with the fans.
Oh, they got that huge status, kind of like any arena rock band now. I mean, Metallica.
Yeah,
they got they almost have a following, like probably almost like an Iron Maiden or a Metallica as far as their fans go.
Like I know their last show at the Garden back in like 2012 or 2013, I think sold out. Like I'm sure people were ready to like burn the place down before Rammstein could burn the place down.
Didn't they have like 2 shows there that weekend?
Probably. I think it might have been one, and then they had to open up a second one or something. Cause,
Yeah.
like I don't know, but they for a band like them to sell the Garden, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, yeah,
And we're not talking about the theater; we're talking about the Garden.
yeah, yeah. Man,
And yet they're like they seem so like not as renowned overall. You know, it's one of those things that like it's just they're kind of flying under the radar somehow. You know,
those are the bands that sneak up on you, and then all of a sudden, like for some reason, I just recently thought about this, is that Green Day has now reached that level of like a Metallica or an Iron Maiden, where they sell out stadiums wherever they go.
when I saw them at Giant Stadium, I believe they sold it out, and it was their biggest show to date, and that was. Man, that was definitely over 10 years ago.
Yes, it was.
Yes, because that was before Lindsay,
Yeah.
for sure. So that was definitely over 10 years ago. And you've got to figure that they've gone up since.
There's like certain bands that they stay very low key, but they have this immense following. I'm thinking like bands like Fish, Dave Matthews Band. I mean, they probably don't even have to release a new record ever again, but they'll still sell out 100,000 seats every single time they play.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam's the same way, although Pearl Jam's still great.
Yeah.
You know, it's just these bands like you don't necessarily hear a lot about, but whenever they play, it's a fucking like cultural event.
Yeah, they're probably at points in their career where they're not going any further up, but they aren't going down either.
Yeah.
So,
Like the Stones.
yeah.
So-
like if you hear Stones, you're going to go to that show. You're going to fork over $500 to go see that fucking show.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's just certain bands that have reached that level. And I think Rammstein's like right up there with
Yeah.
that level.
just with them, it's amazing. Just
Yeah.
because, like, you know, they're not an American band, but somehow their sound, their music has just
I think it has more to do with their production value and their show. Their show is one of those things where like, man, did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. I just remember seeing clips from like the Family Values thing and like
Yeah.
the giant flaming crossbow thing that he had. Like,
Yeah, and it's only probably gone up from there because that was like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right, so that's it for concert news.
Okay. So let's do heavy metal in the charts.
Yeah, so I got some noteworthy points here. We've had the last couple podcasts, we've been talking about how shitty the charts have been, specifically the hard rock one, because they've attributed a majority of it to the streaming.
Yeah.
So what I did is I'm going to scale it back significantly so we can avoid me scrolling through this nonsense and a lot of dead time on air here. So for the top 200, what I'm doing is I'm skipping over all the greatest hits. No greatest hits.
Because there's a shit ton of them.
There is a shit ton of them. We will only report actual albums from metal artists and surprises. I'm even going to report the redundant and live records, if there are any. For hard rock charts, I'm skipping over all greatest hits and redundant albums, including the old Metallica records that are there. So we're going to stick to newer releases and or surprises.
Which means you're basically going to say one album.
I have 4. Okay, so here we go. All right, so with the Billboard Top 200, first right off the bat is the surprise. Not metal, but still surprising to me. Depeche Mode has a new album out called Spirit, and it debuted at number 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Depeche Mode was still around. Like, I never heard that they went away, because I know that like when I was working at Tower a decade and a half ago, like they were still churning things out. So I never heard that they went away, but I'm surprised that they're still around.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think they're probably one of those like underground bands that, well, not underground obviously, but one of those bands that probably had that kind of rabid following
that
they were just talking about.
Under the radar, but there's an immense groundswell for their in their fan base.
And the thing is, I still go back and listen to Violator like every other month.
Yeah,
because that album is incredible.
I'm actually not familiar with Depeche Mode beyond.
I'm only familiar with that one record because it has Enjoy the Silence and all their big hits.
Yeah.
Of course, Metallica Hardwired is down to number 19 after 2 weeks at number 2.
Oh, so they were right there at 2 for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Sweet.
That's because we mentioned the last
yeah.
time we did this was because of the concert sale tickets.
Yeah, probably still happening.
Yep. The new record from KXM, Scatterbrain, debuted at number 81.
Who's KXM?
KXM is the band that features the drummer from Korn, Doug Pinnick from King's X, and George Lynch from Dokken.
Doug Pinnick, speaking of prog guys.
Yeah.
Show up
on everything.
You got King's X, Pound Hound, now you got KXM.
Yep. Metallica's. Let's just go get Metallica out of the way right now. Black Album is at number 111. Justice album is at 112 after not being on the charts last week, and Ride the Lightning is at 145, not being on the charts last week.
Everyone's just getting ready for the tour.
Pretty much. Immortalized by Disturbed is at number 162 from 159.
It's slowly making its way off that fucking chart.
Slowly. The new Obituary record, the self-titled, debuted at number 184.
Yeah.
Which was surprising that they actually made it to the charts to begin with. And Fit for an Autopsy's new record, The Great Collapse, debuts at number 199.
Okay.
So, not a bad week. We got a couple new ones in there.
Yeah. Obituary.
That's
just cool on its own.
So. And going into hard rock albums, Metallica's Hardwired, of course, is number 1. That's been holding the spot for quite some time now. KXM is at number 2. Obituary is at number 12. And Fit for an Autopsy is at number 13.
Not bad.
I like doing this way, the charts this way.
Yeah, it's a lot easier, a lot quicker. So
yeah, it's not as frustrating and annoying.
Yeah. So no 5-finger death punch.
Not on the hard rock one. That's a redundant album because they got 2 on there, I think. So.
Oh fuck you, Pete. Oh, dude, just.
I also knew that Pete wasn't.
It's still 0, everyone. It's still 0.
I also knew that Pete wasn't going to be here today, so I that's why I decided not to write it in.
Pete, you're not here, but
You just made the list.
you're done. I hate you. You're done.
You're done.
You're done. All right. So, like I said, we're going to be doing the top 3 next time we do a show, which is going to be 2 weeks from now. But I'm actually going to close out with a discussion about a show I saw last night. Did I see any other shows in the last 2 weeks? I don't think so.
No, it's kind of slowed down for you.
I was supposed to see some, but I was I was just not feeling like going.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was like 4 shows that I was supposed to go to. I just couldn't. Didn't feel it.
Couldn't get myself out of bed.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like with Lindsay gone, the weekends I slept and I worked and went to bed when I
There's
came home.
nothing better than those non-judgmental naps.
Oh yeah,
Nothing better.
It was great. Just me and the dog hanging out. So, but I'll talk about the show that I saw last night, which is Bifist at Jack's Bar. I've mentioned Bifist several times now. I think this is probably my 4th or 5th time seeing them. The thing about this show was that it was essentially supposed to be kind of their headlining show. They went on 3rd out of 4 bands, which is the way it seems like for a lot of local stuff around here. The second to last band is like the headliner.
It's because they go on at like midnight. They play until like 1 a.m, and then the last band is kind of like closing time.
Yeah, not all shows are like that down here, but in this one in particular, like Bifist is the one that was most.
Yeah, they were at the top
marketed.
of the bill.
Yeah, they were most marketed for it, and they had the longest set. I think the rest of the bands had half hour to 45 minutes. They had a full hour. Now, when I first heard that this show was happening, I was extremely stoked, of course, because I love the band, and it was them doing their own show. And it almost turned out that I wasn't going to be able to make it because I had to pick up my wife from the airport. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting in at like 10:45." And I look at the set times for the show, and it's like Bifist 10:45. I have a clip for that. Hang on one second.
And given her bad luck history with airports and airlines,
Oh my god.
like you were probably like chewing on your fingernails for this one.
Well. There's a progression there because shit. Oh, because prior to me knowing what time she was supposed to get in, I was told that the Northeast or just the East Coast in general was getting some crazy storms, and flights were delayed on Friday. She came on Saturday. Like flights would be delayed from Friday into Saturday, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, if you don't come home, I'm going to that show.
Fuck this shit on that.
I was just like, deal with it. Thug life, bitch. So when I got the word that she would be coming home at an hour earlier than that, or actually she was set to come home at like 5 after 10. But I was like, oh shit, I can still make it to the show. I can pick you up, drop you off, we'll hang out for like a few minutes, and then I'm gonna peace out. So that was my plan. She ended up getting even earlier, but we went to go get food. So
Well, that's essential.
yeah, it was. I was hungry.
What are you not? You're just as bad as I am.
But I ended up getting there probably about 20 minutes late or so I missed the first part of their set. But their set was friggin' awesome. Like, every time we see them, I think they played, like, roughly 6 songs every time we see them. So see them play, I think I saw about 7-8 songs total. And that's missing 4 tracks.
Yeah, really?
At least maybe 3-4 songs. So, phenomenal set. They also played a newer track, which I don't want to say it's a newer track. It's a track that I think they had just recently retweaked for an upcoming release. They're still working on a mini CD come out. No guaranteed time yet, but it's going to be 5 tracks, I believe. And they are pretty close to finishing it up, so I'm really stoked for that, which will coincide with an interview that we plan to do with them in the near future, probably towards the end of my schooling time. But the band is so good, so much energy. The crowd was mostly there to see them, so there was a lot of energy from the crowd. And they rocked so hard that they blew a fuse on the stage, which was kind of awesome. Because like I was telling the band afterwards, like these moments, they suck because you have to stop the show and shit happens, but they're usually kind of awesome just because like
You gotta have a story to tell.
you have a story to tell. The timing of this one was perfect because they were building up. They were doing one of those things where like, all the instruments fall away. You start doing like this thrashy, heavy part on one guitar. The rest of the instruments start coming in. Singer Raul lets out this yell, and then bam, it just cuts out.
And then the only thing you hear is drums.
Yeah, and like it's one of those things where you're like, did I just die? Something happened? What just happened? Yeah, like with the Maiden
like
show.
that Maiden show.
Which-
I thought my eardrums popped. I thought I lost my hearing.
Well, at least this one, it was pretty much just a quick cutout. All you hear was like a pop. Like whereas with Maiden, everything got supremely loud and then cut out after like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
This was like quick and easy and everything, and
like the Papa Roach show at Looney Tunes.
yeah.
Okay.
But the drummer was like still playing his part, then stops, and then goes back to playing it again. And they had to kind of kill time. The drummer's kind of playing little bits and everything. They fixed all the sound, and like they weren't out for more than maybe 3 minutes. But it was interesting. So
They didn't come out and play soccer
no.
like the Maiden show.
That I was telling Raul about that one because like that's still my favorite time.
Yeah,
like, it's
ever.
like just throw a soccer ball on stage, grab all the mummy props, and start kicking things.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But that aside, they put on a fucking phenomenal performance. And it's great to have seen them at their own show with a decent sized crowd for a lot of these local acts, and have them be so into it. So it was great to see that. Now it's mostly what I came for. I watched a bit of the band that followed, which was Conviction. I mentioned them in the past.
Yeah.
They were a little bit heavier than I remember them being, but they have a lot of that alternative metal style, a little bit of like Alice in Chains feel, which is obviously.
Have I seen them with you?
No.
No?
You missed. I don't remember the first time I saw them. I think it was at the Seance show, and I don't think you guys were there for that one. Was it? I don't remember.
Oh, I think yeah.
You guys came late.
Yeah, we came late. Yeah, I remember that because that was the day I was sick.
Yeah, because you came between their set and Seance's set,
Right.
and Pete saw part of their set.
That's right.
Yeah, but they are good. Actually, when I posted up the links yesterday for the bands to the show on the Shred Shack page, I couldn't find anything as far as like studio material. So I would like to kind of hear how they sound outside of the live setting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I ended up talking to a bunch of the guys from the band for a little while. Talked more about the interview we planned to do with them. Actually. A couple of guys from Seance were there, of course, because they're so connected.
Again,
so,
that's like prog rock.
Yeah. so Bob was there, Octavia was there, Danny James was there. The only one who wasn't there was Ruben, the bass player from Seance, and then also Al from Cyrus. Was there. Yeah, which is another band that we're gonna get an interview with in the near future. But he was there. Got to say a quick hello to him and everything. But just all around, for the brief time that I was there, good night. Definitely good night. I kind of wish I had seen the first two bands because I'm not familiar with them. So it's
Who are they?
One was a band named Wolf Blitzer, not the
CNN.
Yeah, not that guy. And
Was it Trey? Was it what was it? Danny Trejo? Was it his band?
No. I was so bummed when I found out that it wasn't like Machete Danny Trejo, and I was so mad. I was like, I should have looked more into this. Now I'm sad. The other opening act was Fulcrum Lake, which I have. I believe I have their Bandcamp page linked at home now, but I have to actually sit and listen to it. But again, having the opportunity to have seen them would have been great, but timing. But
It's a matter of timing for a lot of things now.
Yeah. Well, now that Lindsay's back, I don't have to worry about having to pick her up or anything like that. So, yay. But like I said, fantastic show. I'm always stoked to see them. I think they're holding off on future shows until the CD is done.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Except for opening up from Megadeth and Scorpions.
that's October.
Somebody make that happen.
That's October. So
Somebody make that happen.
yeah, that's far enough away. So. But yeah, that was my experience of seeing them last night. Always good to see them. They're always very nice to me, very appreciative of what we have to say here, and I always do what I can to, give them the thumbs up and the marketing they need. So I think that's where we're gonna call it.
Yep.
For
you got something else coming up this summer, right?
what do I have? What do I have this summer? I'm not gonna mention that just yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna wait until that's like completely concrete and they mention it. So
Gotcha. Okay.
But there might be big news towards the end of summer, possibly. but I'll mention it soon, hopefully.
Possibly, hopefully, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I want them to fully announce the whole thing
Gotcha.
before I actually say it on here. So
Gotcha, of
yes,
course.
I'm being vague. Shut up. So we're gonna call it there because Warrior needs food badly.
It does, actually.
Where's my clip? I don't even know. There it is.
Warrior needs food badly.
Actually, I didn't even eat breakfast today, so I'm fucking starving.
What?
I woke up.
You?
I woke up at 11:20, and I was like, "Shit, I didn't mean to sleep so long, but whatever." And then went out and went food shopping, like pretty much right off the bat. Yeah, so I'm gonna go home and eat breakfast and lug a bunch of stuff to the curb because it's bulk pickup time. What? Get rid of all this crap that's building up in my house.
True.
Yeah.
Just in time to pack it all up and move to another one.
I started collecting boxes. I'm getting ready for that. It's funny. The thing I'm most mad about is the fact that I set up the wall in my office. It looks so nice and nearly finished. I'm just going to take it all down in like 2 months.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, on that note, we are making our curtain call because Warrior needs food badly. I already said that. So until next time, I'm Dan Mack,
This is Chris Mack.
and we are the Slime.